Hello everyone, we're here to talk about the new book that we wrote together called Crossings.
This is a book that we wrote together, and its origins are in the research that Sunil did for a book published in 2013, but that was much more of an academic book.
The book was called Crossing the Bay of Bengal, and it told the story of the huge migration of people between South India and Southeast Asia in the 19th and 20th centuries. Up to 30 million people moved back and forth across the sea. And we started to think about what it might be like to tell that story in a way that would appeal to and be accessible to children.
When Sunil was first doing the research for this book, we didn't have children of our own. And as our own children grew and got interested in history and stories, we wanted to make it more accessible to them. And there was very little available in children's non-fiction that told these types of stories. But because the book had been researched before we had children, we've been able to do a lot of the travel together, and a lot of the research was trips that I was able to travel with Sunil on. So we travelled to Myanmar together, we travelled around South India, to Malaysia, and to Singapore, looking for stories and looking for the small things that people have left behind that might give an indication of their lives.
So as well as a lot of archival work, we took a lot of photographs, spent a lot of time walking through old neighbourhoods which had been home to migrants from around the region, and looking at the traces of what they left behind.
The people in this book were deliberately very ordinary people, and also it's a book about children. It's for children but about children as well. And ordinary people leave very few marks on the historical record, but we wanted to try to tell their stories, so we did it instead as a fictionalised history rather than trying to write something more of a biography, because there's just not enough information about any one person to be able to write that type of story.
And so the stories of Abdul and Mei Ling and Samy and Lily came to us in the imagination, but what we tried to do was to recreate the times in which they lived, the circumstances they faced, and to put as much as we could of research that I'd done earlier while bringing our characters to life for a younger audience.
When we first started writing these stories, they were all separate stories, and it was in fact our son who said the characters needed to meet. And due to his inspiration, we found a way to tie the stories together, and then it was one of the suggestions from Tara Books that in fact there needed to be an epilogue to finish the story and hold them all together. Tara Books was a publisher that we had already known about and were interested in, so when we started to think about what we would do with this story, they came to mind quite quickly.
Since the time my children were very young, one of the great pleasures of my many trips to India was to come home with a haul of books from Tara, and there's some deep family favourites in the catalogue. One of them is The Great Race, absolutely wonderful adaptation of an Indonesian tale with indigenous Indian art, and this was something I actually had the pleasure of going to read to my son's second grade class at some point, and there are so many others we love.
One of the things that we've always noticed about the Tara books is quite how beautiful they are. They work with a whole range of artists, and they incorporate lots of different textures and different traditions of art into their illustrations, and the books are beautifully produced, so they're always these works of art in their own right. We were delighted with the illustrations that Matthew Frame did for this book. I know he's worked with Tara before, and you can see why they keep wanting to have him illustrate their books again, because the illustrations have, we feel, really brought the book to life.
The way Matthew responded to the text that we had sent him surprised us, delighted us, and I think that marriage of text and image, which the designers at Tara Books really did such a wonderful job of weaving together, give us a sense that this book brings it all together.
So we're really excited about this book. We loved writing it, we enjoyed reading it in draft to our children to get their feedback on it, and we hope you really enjoy it too.
Happy reading.